what problems did I face? One of the biggest problems I have with filmmaking in general is finding the motivation to make a film. Things like camera sourcing, participants, locations, props aren't too difficult. They're difficult, but they're problems, and if you have motivation, you can overcome them. Motivation is the essential issue, and I don't like relying on too many people, so I tried to make film by myself as much as I can. This module really helped me with finding motivation. I had this platform where I was expected to make a film a week, and I tried really hard to jump on that and create a film a week. There are lots of films that I've half finished, and that wasn't necessarily due to lack of motivation, it was also due to not happy with the way they're looking or the way that they might turn out, or I envisioned something that wasn't necessarily how it looks once it's in there on the editing timeline. Which is okay. I mean, they're failures, but they're failures having not tried them in the first place, and having the motivation to go and attempt them was still good. Like, for example, I was trying to make a film about frisbee. The thing about frisbee, it's really boring when you watch it. It's really fun to play it, but it's really boring to watch it. And so I tried a few things. The interesting thing would be the people, but I didn't want to make a film about people that I have to spend a lot of time with and a lot of energy with anyway, in a whole nother sphere or aspect, let alone trying to expend the energy to make a film about them as well. I'd rather have failed in making these films than having not really attempted them in the first place, because that's failing already. Personally, I don't enjoy cinemas. I consider them dark places where you have to sit and zone out and just accept what's in front of you. And it's kind of like sitting in a dark hotel room taking drugs. So, the 5 finished films that I made for the guerrilla filmmaking module I've showed in class, and I've gotten direct feedback from them and feedback from my tutor, and all of that was really, really nice. Really enjoyed all of that. I'm kind of reluctant to post a lot of my films on the internet, and except the films that are there already and that have to be there. I'm trying to promote myself in some way. I don't particularly like doing that so much. Again, I've got to find the motivation to do that, really. I had a very particular idea to begin with, and that was to take a £20 note and just document the way that I spent it around as I travelled around London. My film simply states that Great Britain is defined by commerce and capital. So I set out to take photos of various capitalist icons, such as price tags, ATM machines, and the G4S van. I got many reactions from people around me. One thing I didn't predict is, as I was making this film, is the attitude of people around me. I got quite a few funny looks from different people. The most confrontational reaction I included in the film, because I would take a lot of photos of various things to do with money, and the van, the G4S van, which is when I had the argument with the driver of the van.
I'm telling you, I will destroy this camera. Delete it, or you wait for police.
So the rationale for this film was in part to break the rule. I tried to follow the rule as much as possible, in that the film had to be taken with just still photos, and it had to answer the question, what is Great Britain? But there's another rule which stated that you can't use any money in making these films, and I used the £20 note to make this film. Quite literally, it was one of the characters in the film. I wanted to make a film that would take me under an hour to make. It did take over an hour in the end, I think. I wanted to make a very quick film. I was aiming to make a film a week until I got to all 5 films. I had a vague idea that I wanted it to be kind of political, and I had a vague idea that I wanted it to be kind of answering the question, what is guerrilla filmmaking? A lot of my research led me to thinking that guerrilla films are largely based around giving yourself a set of rules and then trying to follow those rules, or challenges, much like in the Dogma 95 manifesto does with its vow of chastity. Setting yourself challenges or rules to follow when making films is really fun, and it's also really fun to try and break those rules, modulate them, or see how you can manipulate them or use them to your advantage. According to this module, I think guerrilla filmmaking is very largely influenced by the Dogma 95 manifesto. Dogma 95 has the express goal of countering certain tendencies in the cinema today. This is a quote from Dogma 95. They use this phrase, certain tendencies. They mean all sorts of things by this certain tendencies phrase. It's very vague. They mean cosmetic elements in cinema, such as extravagant set design.
You know? And like how you can't plant cabbage family in the same place 2 years running because it produces that disease in the soil. And it would be like, you were here last year, you can't come back here and stuff, like to like a stray cabbage plant. You know what I mean? And like, what are you doing back here? I'm your mother!
Film 4 was an attempt to create a film that addresses political issues, both big P, politics, and little p, personal politics. I think this was achieved in the film because food waste is a big political problem, while the way that me and my friend Alex dealt with it was little and personal. It's true that we enjoyed dumpster diving. It was a lot of fun to do it. This may lead to the conclusion that we wanted the poor quality waste management that occurred so that we could take advantage, but truth be told, we wouldn't have cared not doing this if the waste food was managed well. We're not the ones who were wasting it. That's what I maintain. We were just taking advantage of it. About that, having made that film now, is I'm starting to go dumpster diving again on my own this time. I don't often find people to do it with me. So this film was meant to be in one take. Its use of lots of still photographs, not necessarily all taken by me, but some of them were taken by me, was arguably lots of takes, so it's not necessarily a one-take film. The voiceover was one take, and I made a few versions of the voiceover. The first one, the initial one, was the strongest I felt, because it contained a few moments of like stuttering or a few clumsy moments in it. I've really valued that. Some elements of it were really spontaneous, and I wanted to include those, and there was no way I was going to cut that voiceover up, because then that wouldn't be one take, although it would have been very easy to cut that film together because I could have cut on a click on the screen grab where I shifted image, but I didn't. That screen grab was all one take. I practiced very little bit in my head. I didn't want to over-rehearse it because I feel like over-rehearsing stuff.
The diggers move so fast, they are blurred in my mind. How do they not destroy themselves by moving so fast?
What that I was mentioning to people in class was that how can we bend or break the rules, manipulate them, or find ways that I can use them or bend them to my advantage, in a sense. It's kind of like a game, I guess. I've been thinking a lot about what I would put in a manifesto, a film manifesto, and I guess I would like mine to be an uncodified manifesto, in the sense that it would have to be fluid and have to be able to change quite often, much like an uncodified constitution is. I tend to question my assumptions a lot of the time. A manifesto, or creating rules for the films that I make, putting that in writing and then adhering to that and then trying to defend that wouldn't ever be possible, I think. Like, I'd always get either other people would criticize me on it and then I'd be swayed, I'd change my mind, or I'd question myself and end up changing my mind in that sense. So I think, like, for my manifesto, I value the ability to change my mind a lot, and the idea that I want to change my mind in the manifesto would kind of undermine the validity of the manifesto, because then it's not a manifesto, it's just a statement that, contradicts itself. But my manifesto is that I want to change my mind.